And we are back at Burgess Snowfield at JSU Stadium, the campus of Jacksonville State University, about ready to begin the last game of day number 2 of the Spring Gridiron Challenge. A pair of 6A teams from South Alabama. Wetumpka from Metro Montgomery. Mary Montgomery, the Vikings, coming up from Mobile County. John Holder, Gerhard Mathangani with you. Chase Robinson will have the play-by-play of this game, but we want to talk a little bit about this game that's coming up. You know, we started off the day with 7A ball, 6A ball, and then we got down and had some 2As, 3As, and 1As. Now we're stepping back up for the nightcap tonight. Kind of the marquee game of the evening with the 6A battle here between Mary Montgomery and Wetumpka.
It's been a full day, and it's been a really great day. We've seen a lot of offense. Some of the things are as advertised, with Hewitt-Trussville putting up 45 points, a team that put up 500-something points last year. A really great game between 2 state title contenders, between Hoover and as well as and we saw also Cordova, a team out of Tennessee. Hoover played Park Crossing in Class 6A, one of the state title contenders there. We saw a Horseshoe Bend team that will also coming in with a new coach and some of the things that they'll offer as well. And then this little 3-game trifecta that we just covered. So it's been a really interesting and fun day and a good closer here with Wetumpka and Mary Montgomery.
Well, these two teams have come a long way to play, coming from Montgomery and Metro Mobile here to play. Their first time ever to play here in this part of the state of Alabama, and we're excited to have them both here. And that's coming up next. We're just minutes away from the first snap of Mary Montgomery and Wetumpka coming up at the Spring Gridiron Challenge live here on TV 24 from JSU.
Water is in a bit of trouble. Suspected of carrying harmful pollutants into community storm drains, stormwater faces a serious problem. When it rains, dirt, motor oil, excess fertilizer, and trash are washed into rivers, lakes, and streams. And a clean raindrop becomes an unwilling accomplice in the problem of water pollution. It's up to each of us to do our part. Visit cleanwatercampaign.com to learn more. Help protect our water.
When it comes to great tasting barbecue, nobody does it better than Dad's Barbecue. Dad's Barbecue is slow hickory cooked to perfection, and Dad's menu includes a wide selection of popular items such as our smoked chicken sandwich, ribs, salads, and the best chicken fingers in town. And Dad's offers fresh homemade hamburgers and hand-dipped ice cream shakes. Dad's utilizes the latest technology to ensure that your orders are always accurate and hot out of the kitchen. Family owned and operated since 1985, Dad's Barbecue, with 2 locations in Anniston to serve you.
Back here at Jacksonville State University, the Gridiron Challenge here on TV 24. And we got the nightcap. Wetumpka taking on Mary Montgomery. Gerhard Mathangani, Chase Robinson in the booth with you for this one. And Gerhard finishing up a great day of football here with these 2 teams.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. We saw some of the smaller school teams, and now we jump back up into some of the larger classification squads. This one should be really interesting. Both teams, like John said earlier, coming from very, very far away to be a part of this. And, they're really excited to be here and face off against another team. A lot of these squads what they've been doing over the last couple of weeks is playing each other in practice. Some guys or some teams like Hoover have a lot of guys still playing baseball, still running track and other spring sports. And so this is a good opportunity for all these teams to find out kind of where they are, get a strong, stable footing before they go into fall camp.
This game right here will be different from the last 3 games. This will be a 4-quarter, 10-minute 4-quarter game, just like 2 of the ones of the first 3 this morning. So we'll have a full 4-quarter game with this game right here between Wetumpka Indians and the Mary Montgomery Vikings. So
should be a really, really strong game. Wetumpka coming off a really fun season last year, finished 8-3 on the year, scored nearly 400 points on the season, averaged 36 points per game, did the Indians, and we'll see what kind of offensive power they have right here as they take on a very strong Mary Montgomery team as well.
Mary Montgomery with some injured players coming into this spring game. Some starters actually that were injured and can't play in this one. So it'll be interesting to see for them who steps up, and that's what spring's about is getting a feel for your team after the last 9 days of working.
You see the officials there talking with both head coaches. I wonder if they are maybe changing formats, or I see I saw a coin being flipped, so it might not just probably not doing the captains right now. Probably talking everything over with the head coach, formatting and all of that. So they break it up there, and the officials now gather to find out what the format is, and then we'll be off to playing football in just a bit. Mary Montgomery will be the first team out of the gate with the football.
Officials still discussing something down on the field.
We saw this in the Anniston game as well, where the quarterback has a different color jersey on, and I wonder if this might be a situation where the quarterback will not be live. And we had the same situation with Anniston with Savion Bethune in a different color jersey, so that might be one of the stipulations that the coaches were talking about. Might be coming off of an injury. Quarterback for Mary Montgomery listed as number 1, Daniel Jacoby. You see the number 1 underneath that orange vest there. So we'll see as this game goes along if it's live or not. A lot of teams kind of come to these handshake agreements that the quarterback will not be live or certain players will not be live, and we saw that earlier in one game, so it might be the same situation here with the orange jersey on.
So here we go with the nightcap of the Gridiron Challenge here on this Saturday. Mary Montgomery will start off on offense. Daniel with the pitch to Joshua Martin. No gain of yardage there on that play.
Tackle there by Darian Nolan, a rising junior coming from his linebacker position, number 20. And Mary Montgomery, both Mary Montgomery and Wetumpka have a lot of athletes on the field. Mary Montgomery coming off a 5-5 season last year, looking to bounce back, and it's a good place to start right here.
Snap to Daniel. He'll take it himself this time, puts it in the air, and finds his receiver there. That is number 8, Darrell Hunter Jr. He's a senior for Mary Montgomery. Picks up the first down.
This is a good play, just a nice rollout play here, and threw it to the only target that was out there. Ended up getting the first down. Good tackle in the open field, but not after a first down.
They'll have it at the 48. Daniel getting the play from the sideline. He'll go back under center. He'll hand it off this time to Luke Guy, and he'll be brought down immediately with a loss of about 3 yards.
Good job there by the Indians. Gave up the first down early, but the defense comes back strong there. Bringing up a second down and long.
Vikings get lined up here. They'll move both receivers onto the right side. Daniel with the pitch this time. And brought down is Joshua Martin.
That's 2 times the Vikings have tried to run that inside toss play. Basically, it's a toss, but unlike what we saw with Winterboro where the toss goes to the outside, this is a toss basically to the inside where you're trying to run it basically into that C gap. And both times, the Indians' defense stepped up, primarily Darren Nolan. And the second time that I've seen him here in this game, did it the first play of the game, and then again right there, number 20, coming from his linebacker position, filling the gap and making sure that minimum yardage is gained. So a 3rd and long here for the Vikings.
And there will be a flag on the play, delay a game there on Mary Montgomery. There you see our white hat for this part of the game, Steve Hayes.
Officials here have really done a great job of calling these games and subbing in and out. We've had a good group over the last 2 days.
Daniel, pressure coming, and he gets brought down at about the 49.
It's a fantastic job by this Indian defense. They were forced to punt it here. We don't have any live kicking, so they will simulate a 35-yard punt. Put the ball, looks like inside the 25-yard line, maybe down to the 21, or no, about the 18. So long way to go here for the Indian offense, but a great job by the Indian defense holding Mary Montgomery. And there you see a very, very good-looking Mary Montgomery squad. The Vikings coming up a long, long way away, all the way down in Semers, Alabama.
And here's our first look at Wetumpka on offense. DeAndre Ezel is the starting quarterback here for the Indians. He is joined in the backfield there by Robert LaPrade and Smoke. Pass intended there for E.J. Rogers.
Yeah, just a drop pass there. They got exactly the look that they wanted from the defense, and they had one wide receiver out there. It was number 2 that was going to serve as a blocker, Kedrick Adams. But Rogers unable to hold on to the football.
Ezel takes the snap. He'll go back out to Adams. Adams across the 20. And there will be a flag on the play there as he is brought down about the 32.
Is it basically the exact same situation? They just switched the receivers. So last time, E.J. Rogers was supposed to catch the football, and Adams was supposed to block. And this time they threw it to Adams, and then E.J. Rogers was the blocker downfield. We do have a penalty flag, as you said, on the play.
That will move the Indians back to about the 20-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 5.
Five receiver set here for Wetumpka.
Ezel takes the snap. And another whistle blown here. That will be a false start called against Wetumpka. So that will be marked back another 5 yards here.
Penalties here have been killer, really, for both teams. Wetumpka feeling some of the heat right now, putting themselves behind the sticks once again. Let's take a look at Wetumpka Indians head coach Tim Perry, 29-26 record overall, former head coach at Alabama Christian, won the state title as a head coach in the state of Arkansas, 6th year with the Indians.
Adams takes the pass, and will pick up a first down there for the Wetumpka Indians.
So they were behind the sticks there, got behind the chains, and they were 2nd and long, and it's a good job by the offense dialing up a play, picking up 12 yards and a first down. We saw the play before. Wetumpka had 5 wide receivers out on the field. We saw Southeastern try something similar in the last game. It didn't work out. Well, it does work here, so they don't have kind of protection up front. They beat the secondary.
Ezel hands off once again there to Adams, I believe it is.
Take a look at Vikings head coach Chris Wilson, former head coach at Strawn and Washington County, his 8th season as a head coach overall. Been to the state championship game, Super 7 berths twice as the head coach there. First year here, though, with the Vikings.
Ezel takes the snap, hands off this time to Robert LaPrade. He takes off to the 40, and he will be all the way. Touchdown, Wetumpka Indians.
That's a very, very nice play by the Indians, and LaPrade does a great job. But when you watch it back on the replay, once you take a look at number 1, he's a wide receiver. And he comes up with the block here that really springs it free. Does a good job to get around the corner. One doesn't show up in the picture there, but he has the block that really makes the play for the Indians. They get downfield, and it is curtains after that. So it's a great job there by Wetumpka. A lot of team speed here for the Indians is what sticks out to me over the first 2 drives.
Wetumpka the first on the board, and they'll go for the extra point. And it will be good. So Wetumpka takes the 7-0 lead here over Mary Montgomery.
If you're just joining us and saw that extra point, said, where's the effort? Well, extra points here in the kicking game are not live. So we still go through the play so the kicker can get the work, the kicker can get the reps. As you saw there, he bangs it through. Everybody else is not live, though. So good shot here of the Wetumpka Indians. First team on the scoreboard. Once again, Mary Montgomery, the Vikings will come back out. Had some things that they liked in their last drive, but the drive just kind of stalled. Ended up punting the football.
Here's Jacoby Daniel in at quarterback. Of course, he's the one with a different colored jersey. He'll go to the air this time. And picked off there by Wetumpka. That is Trey Jones coming down with the interception for the Indians.
And this is a good play here. There was a lot of time for him to throw the football. And Jacoby has a ball that I'm pretty sure that he wants to get back here. He throws it right in the middle of triple coverage. And just a great job here by the DB, Trey Jones, coming up with the interception. The junior looks like he was playing safety on that play. He has a cool-looking helmet. He has a different helmet from everybody else. He's got he's got the feathers on there. He might have one of the older helmets, or maybe that's a sneak peek at what the Indians will look like coming up this upcoming year.
I like those.
I like it too. It's a nice look. So he gets the special helmet. It might be a situation where he was the best player in spring, so he got to wear the new logo.
Marshall in at quarterback this time, and he'll take off to the 30, and he has a free ride to the end zone right there.
That team speed just coming up once again. I mean, back-to-back possessions, and really two of the last 4 plays we have seen this, and this is just a run all the way. He has the ball for about 3 seconds, about 2 or 3 steps, and then after that, he's off to the races. One of the things I like about this Wetumpka team is these guys can shed tackles. And Mary Montgomery, that would be one of the things that Coach Wilson will talk about with his guys, because this is a very, very fast Wetumpka team, and arm tackles just won't get it done.
They're on to attempt the extra point, and it's through, so it's now 14-0. Wetumpka on top here. Quick 14 points there for the Indians.
Coaches always talk about explosive plays, big plays that can really change a game. Well, with this game right here, we've seen 3 already. We saw one big run for a touchdown, and then we saw an interception that led to another big run. So in about 5 snaps, they've changed this ball game. Now it's 14-0 as Mary Montgomery looks for answers here after the interception. And if you're a quarterback, if you're Daniel Jacoby, you threw the interception not that long ago. So it's got to leave your memory really quickly as you come out here for their next possession for the Vikings. We'll see if they change anything up on offense.
So Mary Montgomery back on the field. Jacoby Daniel under center. He takes the snap. He'll pitch it back this time and quickly brought down. There is Joshua Martin for Mary Montgomery.
That's 3 times this game Mary Montgomery has tried that short toss play. Essentially, it goes into either the B or the C gap. And Wetumpka just says, no, you're not running that play on us. I don't think that play has gained a single yard this entire game. Or this one, a couple of yards, but it's not very much anytime they run it.
Daniel, hands off again. Martin runs straight in to that Wetumpka defense, and that will bring up 3rd down.
I'll tell you what, as opposed to the team speed on one side, a lot of teams with team speed, the kind of knock on them is they don't have the power and the size up front. Well, this Wetumpka team, they look like they have both. I mean, team speed really on offense, but so far on defense, they're saying you'll have to find another way to beat us because you're not going to beat us with the run. This run defense has been exceptional.
Daniel looks to pass this time. He'll put it in the air and throws it out of bounds. That will bring up 4th down now for the Vikings.
Once again, I mean, a big defensive effort here. And the rush this time made Jacoby throw it probably a little faster than he wanted to. It was a slower developing play for the Vikings. We had 4th down here, and it looks like they will go simulated punt. They'll mark off 35 yards. So Mary Montgomery, coming off a 5-5 season last year, they were just a couple games away, maybe 2 games away from making the playoffs last year against the Wetumpka team that had a fantastic season. They were used to having great seasons. They ended up getting bounced in the 1st round of the playoffs by McAdory, but had a good season up until that point. Ended up the year 8-3, averaged 36 points per game. Finished the year really when won 6 out of the last 8 games. So they have a lot to build on as they go into the 2017 campaign, and so far, so good.
Wetumpka back on offense. Chase Adams. I believe that is number 10, Adams, taking the snap. And that will be number 18, rather, Jadarius Martin. But he gets it out to Kiovosley Smoke.
Lots of weapons for this Indian football team. We've seen Martin already score a touchdown. We saw earlier in the game Robert LaPlade on a touchdown as well. This time we have a flag.
That will be called against Wetumpka, so that'll move them back.
You saw how penalties really marked the game last game for Winterboro. They ended up winning the game 26-0, but penalties can play a huge, huge part in wins and losses come fall. And coaches like to see, hey, they don't really hurt as much in the spring, but they are definitely become points of emphasis and talking points, especially the blocks in the back, the holds, lining up in the neutral zone, things that can be corrected.
Martin hands it off again to Smoke. He takes off to the 40, to the 50, and he'll be brought out at about the 44-yard line.
It's just a great run there by Smoke, and it looked a lot like the Robert LaPlade score. Basically just a jet sweep out of the empty formation. And Smoke is a big back, but he's got some speed as well. Sheds one tackle and picks up about 4 more yards before going down once again, setting up back in Mary Montgomery territory.
Martin takes it himself. They'll get him this time around the 21-yard line. He'll pick up the 1st down.
This is just impressive play calling here by Mary Montgomery. You'll see this is a run all the way. Last time they did this, Martin went into the end zone and scored a touchdown. But this time, comes right up the gut there. Good blocking up front. Doesn't get touched until the 2nd level. Picks up yet another 1st down.
Martin will take the snap once again. He'll go to the air this time. 2 wide open players in the end zone, and will be overthrown. That will bring up 2nd down now for Wetumpka. Nice setup, good play setup there. Just not able to executed all the way.
Yeah, good play call is exactly what they wanted, and Robert LaPlay, number 4, was wide open in the end zone, just a little bit high. Martin will look to get that ball down when it gets to his receiver, and a lot of times you're trying to throw over the secondary in that effect, so see a lot of those high balls whenever you're going deep across the middle. A lot of times that's where it stems from, trying just to get it over the safety.
Martin once again in the backfield. He'll take it. He'll go back to the air. And a wide open touchdown. And that is Kedrick Adams.
That was wide open from the very first second the play developed. And it was one of those things where, watch this is actually the perfect camera angle. Watch this, number 4 and number 2. I mean, just essentially all by themselves there. That has to be a secondary breakdown because he had options there. Both LaPlay and Adams were wide open, and this time Adams adds a touchdown to the total, and that's now 21-0.
Wetumpka quick to score out here. They've put up 3 touchdowns here with 1:55 left here in this first quarter. Again, this game is a 4-quarter game. It'll be 10-minute quarters. So we'll have a full 4-quarter game here. So it will be Mary Montgomery taking over on the 35-yard line.
Wetumpka coming in Class 6A. They sit in Region 3. Their region opponents, for those of you not familiar with that region, is Chelsea and Chilton County, Pelham, Helena, Opelika, and Benjamin Russell. So it's a strong schedule. It's a very tough schedule. And so far, they look in mid-season form.
Daniel back to pass. And there will be a pass interference called there.
Yeah, it was the same player that made the interception a couple of possessions ago, Trey Jones. They'll call him for the pass interference because as Jacoby went up, there was nobody there, and he was looking for Jackson Henry. And Henry was not even close, and that was probably because he was being held up by the defensive back there.
So they'll be moved up to the 50-yard line after the 15-yarder there. Daniel will take the snap under center. Hands off there to number 12. That is Brandon Bryant for the Vikings. He'll pick up about 2 yards on that play, 1.5 yards.
So far for Mary Montgomery, they can't get those big plays. I mean, their big plays have been 5- and 6-yard gains, and I'm sure they wanted to hit a home run here.
Jacoby Daniel takes the snap. Goes back to Bryant. He is brought down there by that tough Wetumpka defense.
Yeah, it's been a great run defense so far. That time, they allowed a few more yards than they have in the past. Makes it now a manageable 3rd down, 3rd and about 4. We'll see here what Mary Montgomery does. It's crucial for them, down 3 touchdowns, to be able to move the sticks here.
Daniel hands it off that time. And nowhere is Covey Richardson.
Great play there once again by that front 7 for Wetumpka. It's a good look shot of them right there. They have been all over this Vikings running defense so far and held them to a shutout so far.
That is the end of the first quarter. 21-0, Wetumpka Indians on top of Mary Montgomery. We'll be back with the second quarter here from the Gridiron Challenge on TV 24.
Hi, this is Kevin Riggin with the all-new Tameron Honda in Gadsden. We're excited to be one of the newest and fastest growing Honda dealers in Central Alabama. And with every new Tameron Honda, you get a 250,000-mile powertrain guarantee. I've personally been serving Central Alabama for over 25 years with all your Honda needs. Come see me today or check out our website at TameronHondaGadsden.com. Tameron Honda in Gadsden, where you're going to love the way you're treated.
I got back my smack talk touchdown, hole-in-one, three-point home run, hat-trick pavement pounding, record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up. And I certainly didn't give in. I'm gonna get back to doing what I love. I'm gonna get back to winning.
Back here at Jacksonville State University, 2017 Gridiron Challenge as we begin the second quarter of our last game of this Saturday. 21-0, Wetumpka over Mary Montgomery. And a timeout called before we could even get a playoff here in the second quarter. Wetumpka will call the timeout.
Probably didn't see the look that they wanted or made sure that they wanted to execute something a little bit better. Mary Montgomery, we talked earlier about the kind of season they're coming off of with their new head coach, Chris Wilson, first-year head coach there. His team went 5-5 a year ago with wins over UMS Wright, Fairhope, Murphy, Alma Bryant, and Foley. Finished 2 games away from a berth in the playoffs in their region, finished 6th in their region. So this is a good training ground for them to come back up and make sure that they're ready to make a playoff run this year. Wetumpka, by the way, made the playoffs last year. First round loss to McAdory.
So Mary Montgomery, 4th down and about 5 to go. Daniel looks to go to the air, but he's going to be brought down at the line of scrimmage by Wetumpka, right on the 50-yard line.
Good sack there by the Wetumpka defense, and we've talked all game long about the pressure that they've put, the kind of defense they're putting, especially in the run game. But they're putting a lot of pressure in the passing game as well. And there you see the quarterback going down in the hands of Rico Bozeman, number 8 for Wetumpka. Hands the ball right back to the Indians.
So here we go, Wetumpka back on offense. Ezel takes it himself this time. He gets to about the 31.
It's one of those things that you don't really see very often where he's looking like he might throw the football really all the way down the line of scrimmage. Watch this. He makes the defense play the pass up until right there. Then he tucks it. And that gives just enough hesitation where he can get to the next level. Really well schemed and well executed.
DeAndre Ezel will be back to take the snap once again for the Indians. He hands off to Smoke this time. Across the 20, he goes up the sideline. Does he go in the end zone? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Wetumpka Indians.
That's really, really impressive. We saw him earlier in the first quarter make a big play. This time, it wasn't on the jet sweep. It was just straight handoff. And we saw him on the last time break a couple of tackles as well. This time, 2 tackles, not even close. Then he dives into the end zone, gets across the pylon, and gets in. I'm really impressed by this kid's vision and speed, as well as ability to break tackles. He does not go down easily, and that's something that Mary Montgomery will have to adjust to, that you have to put your pads on his, because shoestring tackles don't work on him. He is a big, big guy.
28-0. Wetumpka on top of Mary Montgomery here. Just about a minute into this second quarter.
Good look there at the Wetumpka Indians. As we said a year ago, went 8-3, finished third in their region. They're a really fun team to watch, and they have a lot of plays, a lot of explosive plays that they had last year. You see a lot of the Indian fans that came down to support their guys, and so far, they're giving them a show this year. You see some of the fans seeing themselves, and want to say many thanks to them. That's a long trip up from Wetumpka to come up and watch their guys play a spring football game, but shows how much they love their Indians.
The Vikings on offense this time. Jacoby Daniel will take it himself to the 40-yard line.
So we thought Daniel might be one of the non-contact guys, but I'm guessing on situations where he runs it, he can be tackled. He's wearing that non-contact jersey, and we saw the same thing with the Edison quarterback, Savion Bethune, on Thursday night. But they have an extra jersey on him, so I figured that meant that he's not live.
He'll take off this time, and they'll blow the whistle.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. He was what we expected, or what we suspected at the beginning of the game, where the quarterback is not live, and unless it's a situation where he becomes the runner, then he becomes live. And that's the reason why a play ago you saw him tackled, and then this time defenders got their hands on him and the referees blew the whistle. So that'll be the rules on the quarterback. And a lot of times, like we said at the beginning of the broadcast, that just becomes a team kind of gentleman agreement deal where he's coming off an injury, he needs the reps, he wants to play, and he's good to play, but not necessarily good to take a bunch of hits. So that'll be the rules on big number 1, Jacoby Daniel.
Third down. Daniel takes the snap. And he takes off, and they'll blow the whistle.
Yeah, nowhere to go for Daniel that time, and he lands softly on the turf. Brings up fourth down here. So 2 plays back-to-back. This Wetumpka defense really holds Jacoby Daniel in check, and he'll go off on the sideline. And the Wetumpka offense will go back to work with a 28-0 lead as we see a running clock here. Some Mary Montgomery fans making a very, very long trip, and thank them as well. It's been a good day of crowds here.
Yes, it has.
Oxford brought a great crowd the other day, and Hoover had a nice little crowd earlier today. Spring Garden brought a lot of people in their little round robin, 3-team round robin with Southeastern and Winterboro.
And here comes the Wetumpka Indians back on offense.
Head coach Tim Perry really has a true coach's dream with 2 guys that are able to run the quarterback position. We've seen Ezel and Jadarius Martin both run this offense, and this time it's Martin.
E.J. Rogers taking off down the field. They'll bring him down around the 40-yard line.
We saw this play earlier in the game, and Rogers dropped the football. You might remember that early, and this time he takes advantage of it. He's a big fella, number 88. And you have to figure they love that play when they can get him out there one-on-one situation with a corner, because he's a big guy. He's listed on their roster as 6'1", 175.
Smoke takes it once again across the 20 down to about the 18-yard line.
Their offense, we talk about their weapons, and Smoke is one, Ezel is one. You've seen Rogers once again, and this time Dodgers won actually 2 or 3 tackles before he goes to the ground. That's probably one of the signatures of his game. He just does not go down easily.
That's Adams taking it this time, and he'll take it into the end zone.
I believe that's his 2nd touchdown of the day for Adams. They've just been rotating him back there between Adams, Smoke, and LaPrade. Those are the main 3 guys that have got the carries out of the backfield. This time it's the fake to Smoke, the pass to Adams. E.J. Rogers, number 88, had a phenomenal block. Sprung this one loose. Watch 88's block right there. Boom. got him out of there, and Adams walks into the end zone.
They're on to attempt the extra point, and it's good. 35-0 here with 5:40 left in the second quarter.
Mid-season form here for the Indians. Last year, scored 399 points, averaged 36 points per game last year. Already just about at their average at 35-0 right now over Mary Montgomery. You know, the Indians have to be pleased at what they've seen so far and against a really, really beautiful backdrop here in Jacksonville.
Beautiful nights here in our nightcap. It's been a nice day all day long. Get to enjoy some spring football. We got some more coming up next week.
Yeah, keep in mind the Gridiron Challenge will continue again a week from today, next Saturday.
Mary Montgomery back onto the field now. Jacoby Daniel hands off to Joshua Martin, and he is met there by the Wetumpka defense.
I've been really impressed with this defense so far. I mean, a lot of teams, what they'll do is they'll start to run. They'll keep trying it because they say, hey, we'll make sure that we keep it a part of our game. For the majority of this game, for the bulk of this game, I have not seen one run over about 5 yards for the Vikings, and credit that Indian defense.
Daniel back to pass. And he will throw it at the feet of Daryl Hunter Jr.
The pressure was there. Looks like roughing the passer, a late hit. That's what the fans want. We're here in the booth with Mickey Shadricks, and he said he just smacked him right after the play. I don't see a penalty flag. He's saying it was a clean hit. Yeah, and you saw it. Yeah, it was bang bang, and I know what the fans want there, but he is live in that situation. The quarterback is still live in that situation. So yeah, it was clean. So good no call by the official.
Daniel will take it himself, and he'll go down about the 40-yard line.
Jacoby Daniel and just the run game in general, just not able to get anything going. We're seeing the complete opposite with Wetumpka. Anything they try, whether it's a pass to set up a run or it's vice versa, the run that's setting up the pass, everything that they're doing seems to be working. And it's just been the complete opposite for Mary Montgomery. The offense is just stagnated really all game long. First drive was really their most productive drive of the game. Ever since then, they just haven't been able to find that balance offensively.
.315 left here in this first half, and it has been all Wetumpka Indians as they lead 35-0 here.
Good shot of Chris Wilson and his gang right there, talking to them right before they go back out. And this is a situation where you're down 35-0. It's easy to hang your head, and so this is the reason why coaches are what they are and do what they do for situations like this to bring teams back from adversity.
Ezel takes the snap. He'll take it. And they will bring him down about the 32.
So it looks like what they're doing with Wetumpka is that I don't think that they have like a bona fide guy they call the number one. They basically run Ezel and Martin back-to-back drives. And so they'll run one guy one drive, one guy another drive. And so far it's worked out. And you always worry about rhythm issues whenever you run quarterbacks like that. So far hasn't been the case for them.
Handoff this time is to LaPrade, and he'll get to the 50-yard line.
And that's just not great tackling there by Mary Montgomery. They were in position. You know, that's a point of emphasis for the defense because he just cut right through there like hot knife through butter.
So it'll be a first down for Wetumpka. Ezel takes the snap. Hands off to LaPrade. And he will get to about the 46.
Another thing about all of these running backs, they all fall forward. It's one of the things I've noticed both with LaPrade, with Adams, also with Smoke, and then also with Rico Bozeman when he is coming to the game. Each and every one of these running backs, that they make sure that the ball goes out ahead of them. They fall forward, and those little habits, those little things that teams do and teams preach, it really goes a long way.
Ezel takes the snap, looks to pass. He will. Ball was tipped and incomplete.
Really nowhere to go there. Great job by the Viking secondary. Lucky that play did not come up with as an interception. That's the intended receiver right there for the Indians. 81, Jaleel Johnson.
We got third down for the Indians.
This will be big if Mary Montgomery can come up with a stop here, maybe in enough time to at least get a field goal.
Ezel takes the snap. Gets it to LaPrade. He'll pick up the first down, and he's still going. And he's going to go all the way to the end zone. Another touchdown there for LaPrade.
Second time this drive we've had just not great tackling, just to be quite honest. And Mary Montgomery, they're right there in position, but watch how many tackles he breaks. It's just a screen pass right up the middle, and it's one guy that's right there, two. The same guy gets another hand on him, and it's off to the races. LaPrade gets his second touchdown of the game, and he'll come off the field with a little bit of help from his friends. I don't know if he messed up a shoulder. Or, there he goes right there. He kind of hobbled over, and as we speak right now, he's walking off gingerly with the help of some of his friends off to the sideline. So you hope he's okay.
And Wetumpka is on to attempt the extra point with a 41-0 lead at the moment. And it will stay 41-0 here. Wetumpka Indians on top of Mary Montgomery. 40 seconds left here in this first half.
Really nice execution there by the Indians. They've done it all game long, really. This is the third time in a row where they've taken advantage of the field position and marched right into the end zone. With about 40 seconds to go in the half, but they've already eclipsed what they averaged last year as a team, scoring 36 points per game on average last year, and on their way to an 8-3 record. And this year, look to have another solid campaign with an offense that's playing really well and a defense that's playing just as well, especially in the run game.
They've got a lot of weapons on offense. Two that can line up at quarterback, and Ezel and Martin, and running backs, and it's a sharp-looking Wetumpka team. On Mary Montgomery's side, still nothing with the run game. That was Martin taking the handoff and running right into that defense.
Nick Angus is the guy that ended up making the play for them. There was about three guys there in the backfield for Wetumpka. Nick Angus is the guy that comes up at the bottom of the pile. It just speaks to the strength that they have as a team on defense. They don't rely on one guy. They don't rely on one unit. They don't rely just on one position, whether it's defensive end or tackle or linebacker. They play really well team defense.
41-0, Wetumpka leading here at the halftime. And John Holder is down on the sideline. So here you go, John.
All right, guys, we're here with Wetumpka coach Tim Perry. Coach, not anything that I could see really went wrong for your team in the first half, maybe a missed extra point, but was there anything you were displeased with from your team in this first half?
No, of course you got to go back and look at the film. All the mistakes, but we got a great group of young men. We got a lot of starters back from this past fall. We've had a great offseason, great spring practice. I know Coach Wilson's coming in new to Mary Montgomery. It's going to take him a little while to get his program installed. They'll be fine, but just proud of our young men, proud of our coaching staff. Felt felt like just after 8 days of practice and kind of 1-2 walkthroughs, one walkthrough after just really 8 days, and they come out here and play at this level. Very proud of our guys. Very proud of them.
Very explosive, obviously, on offense. A lot of big plays. What do you think is the key to making explosive big plays? Well,
we've got some guys that are good with the ball in their hands, and we feel like all of our skill players, we have confidence in all of them. We want to try to get them the ball. We feel like that would make us a little harder to. And then we got a great offensive line. It's just of young men, and it's a great combination of experience and size on the offensive line and some skill on the ball.
We'll talk with you after the game. We'll let you get with your team here at the half. Thank you. Tim Perry, head coach of the Wetumpka Indians. Very impressive performance, to say the least, here, guys, in half number 1.
And thank you, John. As we go to halftime, Wetumpka up 41-0 here from the Gridiron Challenge on TV 24.
2017 college football season kicks off in Montgomery. The Guardian Credit Union FCS kickoff will open the college football season on Saturday, August 26th at 5 p.m. Central Time on ESPN. Don't miss 2 of the nation's top-ranked FCS teams, the Jacksonville State University Gamecocks and the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga Mocs at historic Crampton Bowl. Visit GuardianKickoffClassic.com for the FanFest schedule of events and game information.
You will take more than 672 million breaths throughout your lifetime. Yet life is not measured by the number of breaths you take, but by the moments that take your breath away. JSU is proud to offer Northeast Alabama's only Bachelor of Science in Respiratory Therapy. Now enrolling tomorrow's breathing specialist. Breathe easy.
4 10s. So those were 2 10-minute quarters. And welcome back to JSU Stadium as the sun begins to set over JSU's campus here, the friendliest campus in the South. And we are continuing with our live coverage of the 2017 Gridiron Challenge right here on TV 24. Mickey Shadricks relieving Chase Robinson, who has to move on to bigger and better things this evening. And Gerhard and I will be here for the next 2 10-minute quarters of Wetumpka and Mary Montgomery. And I sat up here while you guys were calling the game, and when we went to that break, I just asked you, I said, is Wetumpka this good, or is Mary Montgomery just really struggling? And your answer was?
It's a little bit of both, because I don't want to throw too much as far as negativity on Mary Montgomery, but there's been so many situations where they've been right in the spot and they're just not wrapping up and making the tackle. But I'll tell you what, weapons galore. That is the key for Wetumpka right now. Adams, LaPrade, Smoke, both already have touchdowns. A couple of those guys have multiple touchdowns. They rotated their quarterbacks out with Jatavian Martin and DeAndre Ezel. So as maybe some younger guys come in here, I see some new numbers for Wetumpka. Maybe Mary Montgomery will be able to find their footing. But so far, it's all been good for Wetumpka.
We saw a great 6A team from the South this morning against Hoover and Mary Montgomery. And you think this Wetumpka team, they're 6A, they're in the South.
Yep.
Think they can play with a Park Crossing type team?
I do believe so. We saw in spurts Park Crossing play really well with Hoover. I mean, that first quarter and that third quarter especially were the 2 big ones. And here's another big play for Wetumpka.
Got a flag coming in behind the play, so that may bring things back. Receiving the ball there was Malik Davis, and we do have a new quarterback, Malik Johnson, number 14 in the game, the left-hander. And it seems as though the biggest advantage to me watching the game in the first half was just the team speed of Wetumpka. So many times they'd break through the line of scrimmage. Mary Montgomery couldn't catch them, or they got to the corner and were able to turn the corner, and Mary Montgomery could not catch them.
Yes, and team speed was really the highlight of that first half there. And you saw it from, I think the most impressive thing is that when you talk about team speed, obviously that comes from different players, but it came from so many different positions. It came from the quarterback, came from the receivers, it came from the running back, and it came from the tight ends as well. So, I mean, just all in all, a bunch of weapons for head coach Tim Perry.
Reminds me of Gerhard Mathangani's speed back in those Homewood days.
I don't know if it was. I know it was that fast. Now we had a lot of good team speed, and I hope just to not be the weak link, as it came to that. It was fun today visiting with some of the Hoover people. Growing up in Homewood.
Is that what you called them when you played the Hoover people?
I didn't. We did not. We used some more disparaging terms we can't use on television right now. But it was a really, really fun time catching up with a lot of those teams that come from that over the mountain area, and we share a lot of rivalries with Vestavia and Mountain Brook and Pelham, and it was really fun.
1st and 10 for Wetumpka, and as Gerhard said, a lot of backups will be playing for the next 2 10-minute quarters. And look at the improvising here. DeAndre Ezel, our correction number 6, Trey McCreary. There's that speed we talked about a moment ago, and number 6 is in the end zone. Another big play. However, there is another flag back at the 40, so this has that look of coming back, but still this play designed to go right. Nothing there, and big playability here.
Yeah, we were inches away from sending this play to ESPN for top 10 plays. This was a good one right here, but this one will come back. But we've talked about that team speed, and one of the things I really like about this squad, this Wetumpka squad, is all these runners run alike. I mean, they all have great vision. They all look downfield, and they don't go down easily. They all break tackles. Yards after contact, we're not keeping track of that stat, but I would love to see yards after contact with this Wetumpka team against Mary Montgomery here, because it's not like Mary Montgomery's not in position. They are, but Wetumpka's making them pay.
Holding call brings this one back. The spot of the foul with the mark off brings it back to the 48, so we'll call it 1st and 6. Wetumpka stopping themselves here on this drive to start the 3rd quarter. Malik Johnson, a junior, handing off to his tailback Desmond Matthews, and he is stopped right at the 1st down marker, right around the needed yardage at the 42.
It's one of the first times we've seen Wetumpka just run it right up the middle. A lot of what they did in the first half with quote-unquote their starters or their ones, however you want to label them, was a lot of the outside runs and then short, shallow passes. This is a different running back in the game, and number 21, Desmond Matthews, so we'll see if that changes things up there with different personnel.
So it is a 1st down at the Mary Montgomery 42. Back to the running attack as Matthews breaks a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. They just cannot bring him down, Gerhard. They like you say, they're there, but I don't know if it's a foot speed issue, a strength issue, or a combination of everything. But these ball carriers are just breaking tackles every time they touch the ball.
We're a long way away, so we can't speak to the specifics of it. But one of the things that I've noticed is that they're not actually, as far as thudding up, getting their shoulders into the tackle. It's a lot of the arm tackling, and it works a lot of times against guys that don't have a lot of good upper body strength. But just about everybody in Wetumpka does.
Johnson rolling out, turning the corner. Tackled out of bounds at around the 21, 22-yard line. So Malik Johnson with a run-pass option there and showing his speed and quickness getting around the corner.
You're seeing that philosophy with Wetumpka, and I think that's just maybe a stature of what Tim Perry likes to do with his quarterbacks, because all 3 that we have seen so far, we've seen Jadarius Martin, number 18. We've also seen number 5, DeAndre Ezel, now with 14, Malik Johnson, all have that same attribute.
Matthews runs a long way to turn the corner, only got about 4 or 5 yards. It would be a 1st down, but again, this is the 3rd flag thrown on a big play by Wetumpka, and this is another holding call against the Indians. Wow.
2 steps forward, 3 steps back so far for this Indian squad, and like we said, a lot of these guys will be some of the younger guys that are getting into the game, so maybe some nerves are settling in and playing other competition. But so far, they're getting exactly what they want, and they're making the yards, but they're all being negated.
I would think after 3 flags for holding in one drive, that would be the equivalent of there's a cop sitting there. I
Right.
think you just slow down.
Exactly.
Officials obviously looking closely at that on this particular drive. Johnson zips it downfield. He's got his man. That is McCreary. And this play all the way inside the 15 down to the 12. And execution, we talked about how impressed we all are when we see these teams come into these spring events with only 9 practices coming in, and then you see them come out and execute the way they execute in an environment such as this against good competition. It's just very impressive.
Absolutely, and we're seeing that really with a lot of teams. We saw it with Hoover earlier and with Park Crossing. We saw it with Hewitt-Trussville and their offense, and add Wetumpka right to the list of top performers today.
Handoff up the middle to Terrence Thomas, and not much running room on that play. Short gain to the 10, 2-yard pickup, 2nd down and 8. They can get a first down at around the 2.
This drive a little bit more methodical than the other Wetumpka drives. The other Wetumpka drives in the game have been a little bit faster. This one more methodical. Shot themselves in the foot a couple times with penalties, but they're still driving on this Viking defense.
2nd down and 8. And this time a huge hole for Hezekiah, now the sophomore. And didn't meet any resistance till he got near the goal line, and he won that battle. So no more points on the board for this Indian team.
7th touchdown of the day for the Indians. And there you're seeing some of the fundamentals that Coach Chris Wilson will clean up as it relates to tackling. And that time the head was just down, but it's really been a team issue, the entire team. The entire defense has had that issue. So we ask all these coaches at the end of games, what does your next few months look like? What does your offseason training program look like? And everybody kind of gives some of the same answers. We'll get into the weight room. We'll start to work on our agility drills. One thing I know that Chris Wilson will say, we will work on our tackling, whether it's that's with dummies or just with sleds. So far, that's been an ailment for this team, and we've seen it come by way of the points on the scoreboard that now is bumped up to 48.
Low line drive kick, but it's through there for Robert Stewart, who you see coming off the field now. So it is a 48-0 lead here for Wetumpka as they take the opening possession of the 3rd quarter, and they march it all the way down the field in about almost 7 minutes off the clock. Put more points on the scoreboard.
This is go time for the 2s. I mean, a lot of the guys that don't play as the 1s, they reserve for the 2nd string and maybe the JV squad. And a lot of times what this time represents to these guys is, hey, we can impress the coaches and show a guy goes down, I'm ready to step up, and I'm ready to play. And there's a good look at Coach Wilson in his first year there with the Vikings. And we have another quarterback into the game. It's number 4, Lucas Harwell.
And Harwell, a little inside pitch to Trevor Wainwright, who spins up to about the 39. Gain of 4.
Going back to the quarterback there, we saw Jacoby Daniel was the starting quarterback. He had that orange jersey on as well. It was a non-contact jersey, but he can be hit if he is a running back, if he is running on the play, so he is live.
And running back met in the backfield, but good job by Trevor Wainwright to just fight forward and turn that into something, because he looked like he was going to be stopped 2 or 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You see big number 38 to Son Traylor getting through there to make the hit.
It's been a staple of what the Indians have done really all game long on defense. As impressive as their offense has been, this rush attack on defense has been great.
Harwell rolling out. Dodges 2 defenders. Pass downfield is incomplete. He was looking for Zach Switzer, and he took a shot as he made an attempt to catch that football at around the 45-yard line. So it'll be 4th down now for the Vikings.
So they'll go for it here. I'm not seeing the call for the simulated punt. So they'll go for it here on 4th down and see if they can keep the chains moving.
Well, the clock continued to move, so the coaches may have decided to do a running clock. Again, we never know from game to game how the rules might be altered. The coaches are given a lot of leeway in these type situations. An offside penalty against Wetumpka, so this will give Mary Montgomery the first down without snapping it.
Probably the first thing, John talked in his interview with Coach Perry about some miscues, and that might be the first one of the game.
And here's the pitch to Wainwright, and nowhere to roam. Again, number 38 to Son Traylor was right there in the path of the ball carrier. Gain of maybe a yard.
Once again, see if the Vikings, with their second unit, against the second unit for Wetumpka, if this changes the dynamics at all.
Second down and 9. A little sweep attempt by Jovante Walters, and he was met by Zach Grindle.
This has just been impressive. This is like this rush defense for Wetumpka has probably been as impressive as their offense. And we talk about some of the woes that the Vikings have had with tackling. You don't see that with Wetumpka. Really, the first guy on the ball, as far as the defenders go, is the guy that makes the tackle. And this has just been really all game long, and I know that Coach Tim Perry will give his defense a lot of kudos.
Third down and 12 now. Harwell under pressure, and he will be sacked. Number 41, Marquez Broden, the junior. There you see him making the play. A loss back to the 40 will make it 4th down and 16 as the clock winds down to the end of the third quarter. A very fast third quarter here in the final game of this Saturday edition of the Gridiron Challenge. We will take a break as well and come back with the fourth quarter in just a moment.
Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
Join us May 19th and 20th for the Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. Come experience Alabama's largest in-water boat show. Test drive pontoons from Bennington, Sun Tracker, Silver Wave, South Bay Regency, and Avalon. Fishing boats from Tracker, Nitro, Express, and Challenger. And personal watercraft from Sea-Doo. Weekend events include fireworks, live music, vendors, and giveaways, including a brand new lake-ready Sun Tracker pontoon boat. May 19th and 20th in Pell City. We'll see you on the lake.
And we are back under the bright lights of JSU Stadium. Mickey Shadricks and Gerhard Mathangani, John Holder down on the field. We're entering the fourth quarter of our final game of the day between Wetumpka and Mary Montgomery, and Wetumpka gets it back at their own 25-yard line. And here comes a little speed sweep to the near side of the field. Malik Davis breaking tackles, staying on his feet up to the 35, and guess what? Got a penalty flag with Wetumpka on offense.
These last three games have really, or last two games, I would say, have been penalty-filled. Here's another one on Wetumpka's offense. You remember their last time they had the football, it's the exact same situation. They marched all the way down the field.
That is 4 holding calls in like the last 8-7 plays, maybe.
Yeah, and they're getting happy with the holding calls. And like you said, usually after 2 or 3 in a row.
So 1st and 15. Little speed sweep going left. Nowden, there's that speed, turning the corner. He is ripped out of bounds by Colby Copeland, but he's able to pick up most of that penalty yardage. Got 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down. Well, he got the penalty yardage plus 4, 9-yard gain, so 2nd down and 6.
It's just a Wetumpka team that, I tell you what, they went 8-3 last year. I expect them to win probably a lot more games this year. Maybe they do get into the playoffs, so they face a very tough McAdory team. They'll be better this year.
Look at the speed of that quarterback. Malik Johnson had a little mix-up with his running back and able to recover and just shot like a cannon out of there, right up the middle.
Yeah, this has just been first team to second team, and I don't know if this is the third team or not, but this has been really impressive on all levels. This Wetumpka offense, and looks like they have found their quarterback of the future in Malik Johnson.
Offensive lineman substitution for Wetumpka as Alex Wallace comes in for Noah Mitchell. 1st and 10 at the 42. Johnson gives it right up the middle to Thomas. This play well defended. We got a little extracurricular activity. Flags fly, and this will be against Mary Montgomery. There you see number 50 just losing his cool there, Scott Foltz, and not sure all that was happening there because wasn't watching that individual battle that was taking place, but Foltz will be escorted off of the field.
I wasn't watching the exact play as well, but these two were actually in a play just 2 plays ago. Big 53 for Wetumpka. Alex Wallace had his helmet ripped off. He was upset about that. According to the rules, he had to come off the field for a play. This was his first play back going after that. And so this might be what we saw right there, just might be an extension of what happened 2 plays before. And that has probably some frustration starting to creep in, especially playing defense for a team that's given up as many yards and as many points as they have. And on one level, it's understandable. On another level, you have to keep your head on situations like this and not get yourself, in the fall, he might be walking the line of a possible suspension and being thrown out of a game. So this is a good teaching moment for the coaches and a good learning moment for the players.
So 1st and 10 at the 40. Nice hole up the middle for Thomas. And he's got himself an 11-yard gain down to the 29 and another Wetumpka first down.
There's been very, very few times where the first man from Mary Montgomery makes the tackle on first contact. We're not keeping, like I said earlier, not keeping the yards after contact stat. Watching this game back, and if somebody does, I'm sure one of the coaches will go back and grade that measurement, yards after contact, and this has been through the roof for Wetumpka.
Got a receiver behind the DB, and the pass just a little too high. It was intended for Timothy Johnson, who just took off on a go route and ran right by the defender, Caleb Smith, and Johnson just maybe too open for Johnson that time.
Yeah, we saw that earlier in the game where we just had just a wide open and caught a 9 route, or the go route, the fly route, just taking off, and all it is just reach point A to point B. It's not even a route. It's just take off as far and fast as you can. And that time, the quarterback, Johnson, just threw it just a little bit too far.
Little wildcat here. Rawls in there, picks up the loose ball and turns the corner, and there's that speed again. Takes a shot down near the 11-yard line, but a big play again for Wetumpka out of the running game.
Rawls, Malik Johnson, this duo looks a lot like the duo we saw with the starters, which is scary with DeAndre Ezel and Jadarius Martin, where you just sub in one guy, sub in the next guy, and you take the numbers off, and they look about the same. They all look athletic. They all make plays when the play is busted. Have a nice little arm on them. I know we haven't seen the arm yet of Rawls, but it's back in there at quarterback. We'll see if they put the ball in the air this time.
Taquan Rawls stays in at quarterback, as Gerhard said, and here is another rushing attempt by Terrence Thomas, and he would not be denied.
They blew a whistle.
Yeah, I think they did.
I don't think they blew it loud enough for the players to stop their motion. It was kind of a softer whistle. I don't see any penalty flags out there.
Okay, the men in stripes have been the only ones able to stop Wetumpka here in the second half.
That's exactly right. This has been a really, really impressive showing. And it's different, we've seen a lot of these games where the first unit looks good and the second unit struggles a little bit. Here, there's been very little difference between the two.
Not much drop off. Matter of fact, just different version of the same thing, it looks like to me. And Rawls, look at him. I mean, just very dangerous from the quarterback spot, and he's inside the 5, down around the 2, almost may have a first down with that run.
And going back to that point, it just looks like you have a a situation where your first team or second team don't even look that much different. I mean, just look at the size of a lot of these guys that are playing, and most of these guys that aren't starters will play on their JV unit. You know that Coach Tim Perry has to be really excited. He told John at halftime they have a lot of guys that played a lot last year back this year. To have a lot of that veteran leadership, I'm sure, is a big plus for the Indians.
And another touchdown. Hezekiah Nowden into the end zone. And Wetumpka padding their point total once again.
It's a good play right here. And Mary Montgomery, once again, they had players there, but big Hezekiah just wanted to get into the end zone. He does, and we'll have another extra point here.
And it is right through there for Robert Stewart. 55-0 as the shutout continues here tonight with Wetumpka.
And after your defense, it becomes about pride. It becomes about protecting that shutout. And there's a lot of teams that they'll give out different awards for shutouts and player of the games and MVPs and whatnot. But one of the things defenses love to hang their hats on is that goose egg on the scoreboard. So I'm pretty sure a lot of the starters told the guys that are playing right now, hey, you've held them to 0 so far. Continue to do that for the next 240.
And a nice run here by Keith Overstreet. 13-yard gain out to the 48. And the clock continues to wind as we near the 2-minute mark of the fourth and final quarter of the final game of the day. Harwell, little play action, rolling out. Had a man wide open in the flats and just missed him. And pass batted down.
Yeah, they blew that thing dead. And he had a guy in the flats, like you said, wide open. Great coverage on the deep side, though, by number 39, Jacob Thrasher. Really took away the deep threat, which I'm guessing might be where the quarterback Lucas Harwell was intending to go.
Second down. And here's the pitch. Back in the game there, Braxton McNair.
They used that play, the very first play of the game. It's basically an inside toss. They haven't gone away from it. But against the starters, that gain may be 10 yards total for the entire game. That's probably their biggest play off that play.
They run it again on 3rd and 3, and Braxton McNair, a physical runner, bulls his way to the first down at the 40.
And now for Mary Montgomery, we talked about how the shutout becomes important for the defense. For Mary Montgomery, getting on the board for this unit right here, it means a lot to them.
And they've got less than a minute to get it done and 40 yards to go. Fumble the snap, and Harwell just falls on it at the 41. And Mary Montgomery's going to call a timeout with 44 seconds left.
Interesting call here by Mary Montgomery staff, and here's Coach Chris Wilson. And as Tim Perry said, he spoke with John in the interview at halftime, and he brought up a good point about this being Chris Wilson's first year on the job, and a lot of people that are new to high school football or don't know the high school football rules enough. You have 9 practices. This is essentially what they call the 10th practice. So Chris Wilson has been with his guys as a head coach for essentially 9 days with them in football gear. So it'll be a while before they get things rolling. But you know, they won 5 games last year, won 4 out of their first 5 games to begin the season. Really ended on a big struggle. We'll see if things change here this time.
And the give right up the middle. And that is number 25, Trevor Wainwright. Gains about 4 yards. Second down, third down, which is it? Third down? Third down and 6. running out of time. Harwell looking to throw, goes for it all, has a man open, and incomplete down at the 5-yard line. The receiver was open. That was Christopher Wallace, and he could not haul it in. That would have given him a chance to get the goose egg off the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's a good recovery there by the Wetumpka defense. He was open for about 3 or 4 seconds there before he got the ball out there. Good recovery, and once again, Mary Montgomery will have probably 1, possibly 2 more snaps before this thing's over with.
Harwell fakes, steps up in the pocket, looks to the end zone, and it's caught for the touchdown. Catch made by number 16, Zachary Lewis, with 0 seconds on the clock. So how about that? They erased the shutout on the last play of the game. Their fans have something to cheer about before they head home.
Absolutely, and this is a well-designed play right here. And give a lot of credit to Mary Montgomery. They called a timeout with 44 seconds to play, and you know the guys were talking about not giving up and continuing to fight. And a lot of times those things just become just words. Don't give up, you know, all that stuff. You're not going to win the ball game, but good job there by Mary Montgomery to end on a positive note, which was a game dominated by the Indians.
And the teams will head to the center of the field to shake hands. John Holder is lurking somewhere down there, so I
think John will get both Tim Perry and Chris Wilson and get their final thoughts before this thing is all said and done. And we've had a great sportsmanship really throughout the day, and it's been good. It's been a very competitive environment, lots of great games, lots of great performances. And we talked about some of the teams that looked impressive, and I know we cover teams here in the East Alabama area, those familiar with TV24 and our programming with Pigskin Roundup. But there's a lot of teams that you'll keep an eye out for as the season goes along. Park Crossing being one, Hoover being another, and I'll add this Wetumpka team. I'll checking box scores to see how they do throughout the season, because this performance today, very impressive.
No doubt about it. And John Holder is standing by down on the field.
We're here with Mary Montgomery coach Chris Wilson. Coach, how big was that touchdown to get at the end of the game?
Oh, you know, it's moral. There's not really a moral victory. We're just trying to, you know, get our guys to compete and score at the end of the game. You know, it's obvious we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of young players. You know, Wetumpka's a heck of an athletic team, and you know, they kind of showed us that we got a lot to work on over the offseason. So.
For folks up here in North Alabama may not realize, but you built a really powerhouse quality program at Washington County up at Chatham. A couple of Super 7 appearances, and now you're at Mary Montgomery back in Southwest Alabama. What do you do? Tell me about the process of trying to build what you did at Washington County at Mary Montgomery.
It's all about the culture first and the attitude of the kids. You know, same thing at Washington County. They'd always been through constant change. Nobody really staying, but it's about building their attitudes and their competitiveness. You know, and right now we don't have a lot of guys that have competed on the varsity level as a whole on our team, and we've got to grow that team and we've got to grow that culture. You know, and it's one practice at a time. You know, it's not one game at a time, it's one practice at a time.
What did your guys think about coming all the way 5-6 hours up here to North Alabama to play up in the mountains up here at Jacksonville State and play in this venue, television, turf, all that? What was the team's thoughts about this trip?
Well, I mean, they're very excited, you know, but I think this was an eye-opening experience, obviously. You know, I want them to compete no matter what the score is. I wanted to have a great opponent. You know, they embarrassed us. Let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. They did a really good job, and we didn't. And I think what I'm trying to show these guys is it just takes hard work. It takes practicing harder. It takes Monday through Thursday effort. And, you know, this venue was great, getting them away from home, experiencing something. So maybe we get this out of the way, and now it won't happen on a game that really matters.
Coach, have a safe trip back. I know it's a long trip back to Mobile County. Thank you for coming and being with us here in North Alabama.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Chris Wilson, head coach at Mary Montgomery. Long way to go, but, hey, he did it, guys, at Washington County. Built a Super 7 team, and have no doubt he's the kind of guy that can get it done down at Mary Montgomery.
Absolutely, class act. And I tell you, I don't think he's got anything to be ashamed of. I mean, Wetumpka, I mean, they're stacked. And I just think they had a little more weapons to work with in this game today. And but again, a great experience coming here for Coach Wilson and his team as we see some of our great camera men and women. And there you see Caveman down on the field, and done a great job today. And delivering great shots of all the games throughout the day. Daniel Castaneda there, and need to get him a razor for Christmas, and then okay, that's enough of Daniel.
Daniel's got about a 10-second limit.
Please move on. Wetumpka getting a little excited down on the field there in their post-game discussions.
They did. Don't tell me spring games don't mean much at all. There's Brent Pears right there. Is another one of our crew, and these guys and ladies put in a lot of work getting these cameras set up, and they're here way before these games start. And then once again, after the games, breaking everything down. So we thank them for a great performance, as well as the teams, probably highlighted by the best team pound for pound so far, Wetumpka.
Well, that'll wrap it up for this day of the Gridiron Challenge. We'll be back with you again next Saturday for more action from JSU's Burgess Snow Field. For our entire crew, saying so long from Jacksonville.